I love you. Welcome back to the Couch Potatoes. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. I wasn't ready to do it. And you did it. And I felt I had to. That was a peer pressure introduction.
I feel like, may he rest in peace, but I feel like whenever I've seen a movie of Sean Connery's, you gotta do a Sean Connery.
You gotta do it. I was gonna do it later. I just wasn't gonna do it right at the top. And I just wasn't ready. This is a podcast.
You're waiting to say that she talks in her sleep.
We named the dog Indiana.
Indiana.
Junior.
Junior. That's what he says. His name is Junior.
Junior.
We named the dog Indiana.
Damn it, this is a podcast about movies and TV named Green and Faceless on the Couch. Yay! And it's the Indiana Jones playlist. If you didn't guess,
is indeed.
You probably, there's good chances that you clicked on this episode. Yeah, so you probably knew that already. But this was the last one. For a long time.
Yep. It was. And it still can be in many people, including my own heart.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
We'll see how Dial of Destiny is.
We'll see how Dial of Destiny is, but next week, we'll talk about that, actually, you and me in private. Okay, so The Last Crusade, Indiana Jones, and the
Indiana Jones. Sorry.
So there's no awesome sidekick. It's just...
No, there is.
Who's the sidekick? Marcus?
Well, technically, I would consider Indiana Jones the sidekick.
Oh, to
Henry Jones's
Jones's adventure. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, what I was just saying is that I missed Short Round. That's all, okay?
I do miss Short Round. Yeah, who knows what happened to Short Round? Maybe he'll be in Dial of Destiny. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
I've heard rumors that Ke Huy Quan was on set. I don't know if that's true, and
he could have just been saying, "Hey."
Yeah, and their reunion reaction at the Oscars makes me feel like he most likely did not meet Harrison Ford in a long time.
Right.
Like, so I don't think he's actually in the movie, but it's possible. It's possible.
That would be great.
I would love that.
And
That'd
he calls him, he calls him Short Round like one time, and he's like, "Professor Jones, cut that shit out."
Indy! My name is Tim!
You know my name is Tim!
You named me Tim!
When you adopted me, you named me Tim.
Or maybe he named him River, because this movie starts off with a new Indiana Jones. We don't have Harrison Ford. We have a young 13-year-old boy.
That's right.
As Indiana Jones in 1912 or something like that. Going on one of his first adventures. Mm-hmm. And that young new actor playing Harrison Ford at the age of 13 was none other than River Phoenix. May he also rest in peace.
May he also rest in peace, yeah.
But yeah, I never knew that was River Phoenix. I'll be honest.
I didn't either, and I saw his name in the credits, and I was like, "Sarah, do you know who River Phoenix is?" And she's like, "Of course I know who River Phoenix is, Blake." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I'm in the movie.
Well, anyhow, yeah, I did not actually recognize him when he was playing young Indy, and I totally forgot to expect to find him in the movie, so I don't know why. And we were literally just talking about it, like right before.
Yeah, me and my brain, we do not, when we were kids especially, we did not remember faces that well. Mm-hmm. And so, even though I'd seen a lot of like Stand By Me and all those other, his childhood films, I didn't recognize that he was fucking Indiana Jones. But I was playing a video game while watching this one. I went through a pretty crazy weekend here. and I was taking care of a sick dog, so my mind was like 3 different places at once. So when I was watching this movie, even though I love this movie and I would, I gladly wanted to rewatch it, I was very distracted. My ADHD brain was going crazy, so I was also playing a game trying to watch this movie. So most of this, I'm just like coming off of my, remember what I watched all the time as a child, because I'd seen this 1,000 times.
Yes, definitely a lot. This is the one I've seen the most.
Yeah, same. But I just remember when I was playing the game, and then like the movie started, and I look up and I see young Indiana Jones, and I was just like, motherfucker, that's River Phoenix. I was just like, no way. I was like, there's no way. And then like I looked it up and I was like, oh my god. Never knew it. Like, completely did not. It was so funny just like seeing him, and now like adult brain actually recognizes faces.
Yeah.
So it was hilarious to like just see him and be like, I watched this movie literally like, I've definitely watched this movie like 1,000 times more than I've watched Stand By Me. So like, I don't know. I just don't know. Don't know where the head was at.
Well, Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade.
Oh yeah, River Phoenix. That's right. I was saying that he was young, young Indy. The movie starts with him stealing a relic from, a thief. It's a guy who's excavating ruins and stealing these ancient artifacts and everythand everything.
Yeah,
who is that guy?
I believe in IMDb, his build is Panama hat, and he's played by Paul Maxwell. That he's not the archaeologist type guy, but he's the money guy. The archaeologist guy that he gets the fedora from is billed as Fedora. And he's played played by Richard Young.
Wow. Yeah, they're stealing these artifacts, and Indiana, young 13-year-old River Phoenix is like,
I'm a Boy Scout.
Yeah, and that belongs in a museum, that famous Indiana Jones Harrison Ford line.
That's right.
You belong in a museum. And so it's really it's setting up everything. It's setting up his motivations as he grows up, when he becomes an architect himself, or an archaeologist himself.
And then he builds the Taj Mahal.
Yeah. He found the Dead Sea Scrolls. No, crap, what was I saying? But yeah, young Indy steals the relic from the thief so that he can get it safely to a museum. Because apparently that's always been Indiana's motivation. Even though he's... at the same time, as we've mentioned already, while he might be giving it to a museum, the culture that it's being taken from, probably not getting anything.
No, probably not getting anything.
It's really sad.
To be fair, this particular cross was found in America.
Yes.
Owned by a white man who, probably didn't know it was there, and it also was a Spanish cross.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Coronado, that's who it was. Yeah.
Was it Coronado? Well, whatever. Panama hat.
He's a Spanish man.
That's... Yeah, he's the Spanish guy, yeah. So the Spanish guy that got it from Cortez, like one of the biggest genocidal people in the world of history. And so I think it's okay if we take that one, because
that's totally fair. Yeah. Sadly, Indy, even after a very long and very exciting action opener, where it involves him running through a train of wild animals,
right?
Where he gets his fear of snakes. Because at the very beginning, he's not afraid of snakes. He even grabs a snake. He's like, it's just a snake, and throws it.
And he whips it in the other kid's face.
That's right. That's where he gets his love for whips. Well, he actually does get his love for whips on the train, too.
He does. That's true. It's a circus train.
Because, it's a circus train. He falls into a snake pit, and that's where he gets scared by all of them and gets super fucking terrified. And including one giant snake that jumps out at him. He's like, fuck!
Yeah.
But then he goes into the next car, and there's like a rhino or something. Then there's another car where there's a lion. Yeah. and there's a whip there for the tamer, and he uses it on the lion, and it's just like they're setting everything up. They're like, "This is where Indy became Indy," and it's a fun scene. I'm not gonna knock it. Steven Spielberg did a great job.
It's funny that you did that because we watched it on Disney Plus.
Right? Jesus. It's pay us, Disney. I love you.
Just don't.
I don't really love you, but still,
don't make us.
You can pay us. Yeah.
So
we're not DeSantis. But no, he fails. All I was saying was he fails at getting the cross because he learns the way of the world, which is corrupt cops.
He doesn't really fail hard. You know who actually fails hard in that scene? The other Dr. Jones.
The Rhino?
The older Dr. Jones, played by Sean Connery.
Yes, indeed.
Because he won't even come out of his office to help this situation.
No, he's too busy. He's drawing a religious picture and reading something religious.
But he was an excellent father. That's what he says.
He was an excellent father. No, he has no interest. Yeah, that's what you get immediately with this one scene is that Indy and his father have a huge degree of separation. Because Indy is his real name is Henry Jones Jr. Mm-hmm. He's named after his father, but he goes by Indiana because he doesn't see respect in his father, just as he doesn't see being respected by his father.
That's right. And he got a lot of respect from the dog.
Exactly. I love that dog. Wait, no, it wasn't Sean Connery that said that. I can't do a Harrison Ford impersonation. That one's too hard.
I'd have to think about it. Maybe later in the episode. But we do get the return of a couple favorite characters here real quick. We get Marcus Brody, played by Denholm Elliott. And a little later, we do get John Rhys Davies back playing Sulla.
Yay! I love it.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Another person I didn't realize in my childhood.
At the same time of learning that his father is missing and presumably looking out for the Grail, which he is obsessed with, so does Walter Donovan. Yeah. Yes, his father is. So does Walter Donovan approach him to help him find it. And that's played by Julian Glover, if I'm recalling correctly. And
Empire Strikes Back. Who's a general in that? I don't remember the general's name.
He's a rich person who wants the Grail, and it turns out in the long run that he's willing to work with the Nazis to do so.
Yep.
And
you get that good James Bond double cross going on.
Right, exactly.
Since Sean Connery's in there.
That's right. So they go out to look for the Grail, which was hidden by the Knights Templar after the sack of Constantinople. And that's during the Fourth Crusade, I believe. Yes. And interesting thing about the Fourth Crusade is that was not the original mission at all. The original mission was to go straight to Jerusalem and take back Jerusalem, which had been ruled by a European dynasty for a couple generations. And so the Fourth Crusade was to come back and, earlier Crusaders. It was ruled by earlier Crusaders. But this crusade was recruited to do that, but they got the Venetians involved, and basically long end of the stick is that they wanted money for helping the son of a dead emperor get back on the Byzantium, or latter Rome's throne, and he didn't actually have the funds to give them that he promised them. So they sacked the city.
Damn. And somewhere in there found the Holy Grail.
And somewhere in there, supposedly the Holy Grail was there. Now, we do know that they had the Holy Lance, but this being from historical records and stuff from the time. and plenty of pieces of the cross and all that. But Antioch also had a Lance of Destiny or whatever. So so it does. They took a whole bunch of stuff. Anyways, the Crusaders, and supposedly they took the Holy Grail. And this is the fun time. Cup that Jesus drunk out of. He drokrumed right out of this cup, which is what a grail is, if you don't know. And he drank out of it at the Last Supper, which some of you may know about.
And in this legend, and in the Last Crusades version of it, in any ways, it has healing powers, or it's believed to have healing powers.
That's right.
Yeah. As well as maybe immortality, but
maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
But not if you pass the seal. Ooh, spoilers!
Oh, Jeebus! I mean, even speaking of that too, like a lot of the puzzles that are presented in this, because Indy, being this exciting archaeologist, he has to solve a lot of puzzles to find where the Templar hid the Grail, and hopefully find his dad who's gone missing. In search of it, as you mentioned earlier,
right?
And one of the puzzles is, there's a lot of puzzles at the site itself, but at the very beginning, they come to a library where a person might be buried beneath the library, and with him have a map pointing to where the Grail is, all that kind of stuff. But the first clue is they're trying to find the Roman number 10, which is an X.
Yeah.
And like they see all the other numbers they're looking for, and they're like, now we just need to find the X, and they're just like looking around everywhere, and then there's this like big reveal that it's on the floor, but at the same time, it's such an obvious X that why they even like mocked looking around, like where in the fuck else could it be? It's like it's clearly there on the floor. Like you don't need to go upstairs to see it.
It's called
it's an obvious
comedic
X.
effect.
I know it is. I know, but it's so stupid because they're all looking around stupidly, like looking through books and everything.
Where is the X?
But yeah, it all led to the magical line, X marks the spot.
Yeah.
Or I guess X does mark the spot or something like that.
So there's also another character who I believe is introduced through Walter Donovan. She helps Indy out a couple times. Yeah. And this character's name is Elsa, played by Alison Doody. And we're children.
Her name's Duty.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Alison Duty.
She, being a beautiful woman in a film full of men, gets with Indiana Jones, the title character. And but she also is sleeping with Hitler.
Yeah. She's with the Nazis.
And
honestly, like I know it says here on Wikipedia that she's Austrian, but like her name's Elsa. Like, come on, Indy. Like you should have been expecting a double cross. Like, sorry.
Why?
His main enemy has always been the Nazis, and you just hear Elsa, which is a very like
German
Central
name.
European Germanic name. Yeah.
Well, they speak German and Austrian in Austria. That is.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said Central European first, because it's like it's very much like of that region, and I know that she's Austrian, but still.
Yeah, there was a lot of Austrians who were like, yeah. Go for it, Germany. We want to be big Germany again. Let's do it. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, there's so many stupid things about Indy's infatuation with this woman, where it's just like, she's a great character because she is, well, I don't know. It's arguably a great character because she does use her feminine ways a lot to intimidate or woo. And so it's just like, that's a little arguable, but at the same time, she is like a pretty good villain. Like, she gives a lot more than you expect her to give in regards to some of her vile actions.
She also it's really interesting because by the end of the film, she's still cast in this gray area.
She's kind of like an anti-hero-ish.
Because she doesn't really like the Nazis. She's just using their power, the power of their symbol, to get her own agenda. But that's still disgusting because they're Nazis.
Yeah, it's still Nazis. They're still working with Nazis.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
And that might be even worse because it's bad. Like...
But it's like there seems to be at the end that she might actually still have some feelings for Indy.
Definitely.
Like, it seems like both of them really respect each other's knowledge of everything because they're both very knowledgeable about this subject.
She's she is an archaeologist as well, I believe.
Right. And she does trust his brain because she uses him to solve all the puzzles, basically. Yeah. So, he gets double crossed by everybody. But the beauty of this movie
even
is
his dad.
The non-double crossing. Exactly. Yeah, the non-double crossing of his dad. Okay. Which is that's the heart. Yeah. That's the heart of this film. Is that it's a beautiful story of father and son going on this journey together to find the Holy Grail.
Totally unexpected journey too. Like Henry Jones just goes out and does it. He doesn't tell anybody that he's doing this, and he doesn't even know where to start. Like he got into a little bit of trouble, got scared, sent his diary to Indiana. And Indy had to solve the thing in the journal with other things to figure out that his dad was looking in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
So he has to help his dad find the right place. And when he shows up, he's like, Junior! It's like, it's like this pleasant surprise. And now that Indiana Jones is a grown-up and a colleague in academia, he does want to actually talk to him, but he still talks down to him. And, he
doesn't like a lot of the things he does either because Indy has to get violent sometimes. He's got to kill some people every now and then. Always Nazis. Yeah. Almost. I
just remembered the plane.
And
the plane part.
Yeah, I love
where they both get into the plane and Harrison Ford says, "Dad, you're gonna have to shoot him," and he's like, and he starts shooting him with the machine gun, and the other fighter, the German fighter, goes behind the plane and he shoots out the tail of the plane. This being Sean Connery, shoots out the tail of the plane, and he's like, "Oh, Dad, what happened?" He's like, "I don't know what to tell you, Andy. I don't know what to tell you, Junior." And Indy looks back and he's like got a pissed face, and Sean Connery's demeanor totally changes and he's like, "They got us."
It's fucking good, man. Their chemistry was perfect. Like, it's so funny. Like,
yeah, they're funny.
Harrison Ford and Sean Connery did such an amazing job together. Like, this whole movie is what makes this movie fun to watch is watching them just, grow as like two kind of like distant father-son into just like there's a moment where you think Indy's going off a cliff. And everybody runs up to the cliff, and Sean Connery is like very heartbroken. Yeah. He's just like, "I just lost my son," and then a beaten and like tired and broken Indy walks up from behind and like stands beside them and looks over the cliff with them.
Pats him like back.
And when Sean Connery turns and sees Harrison or Indiana Jones, really, he's just like, "Oh my God!" He just breaks down. He's like, "I thought I lost you." It's like, it's a good moment. It really does move you because it's like that would not have been. I mean, I'm sure he would have been sad if his son had died, but the Henry Jones at the beginning wouldn't have been as heartbroken as Sean Connery is after like the adventure they've gone on. It's a really beautiful growing of this relationship.
Definitely,
I love it.
Definitely,
it's so much fun to watch.
I do enjoy this movie quite a bit. I did just remember a scene that I had forgotten as I grew up. There is some foreshadowing that Sean Connery plays his father. This is to say that Sean Connery doesn't really come in until nearly halfway through the movie.
Right.
But there is this scene where Indiana Jones and Elsa go to this castle to look at the tapestries. And he pretends to be a Scottish lord. And the guy was not impressed. He's like, if you're a Scottish lord, then he says something I don't remember, but it was funny. And then I'm pretty sure that Indiana Jones just ended up punching him because it didn't work. But I thought it was really funny noticing it as an adult. It's like, oh, he's not intimidating, imitating his father.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I love that too. I didn't think about that at all, so it's really fucking hilarious looking back now. Yeah. I love it. It's so fun.
It's really good. Oh, but one thing like that stood out to me that I was like, you fucked it up, Indy. You should have remembered that in Scotland they're lairds.
Lairds.
They are. It's a different time.
I know. You're right. It's hilarious. I love Scotland. I want to visit Scotland or live there.
Yeah.
It'd be so nice.
Yeah.
But sadly, that is for the far future. Before we wrap, I want to talk about the trials at the end because I love that. That's what like the greatest part of the movie is.
Right. With the Grail Knight,
which is a great thing. It's beautiful to say that the ending is the best part of the movie, like because you kind of want the climax to be that good, and it really is here because when they finally get to the area, Indy is trapped and being used by the Nazis to solve the path, the whatever you want to call it, the trials to get to the Holy Grail.
Right.
What the Templars have set up to protect it. I won't talk about all of them. I just want to talk about the bridge in particular because I love the bridge scene because there's like this one more part where he gets and it's like the rhyme or the legend that they're working off of says like you got to take a leap of faith or whatever, and it's this bridge that is it's painted and designed to look like from your perspective, which you can't get any other perspective because there's no other room. You're kind of like you're in a man-sized outlet of a cliff wall, basically, and you can't look around or anything. All you can see is what looks like a complete chasm before you. But the bridge is designed that way because it's just like it's designed to look like the wall would be from your perspective. So when you walk out onto it, it's like, oh. Yeah, there's a bridge here. Like I love that reveal. Even as an adult, that as a kid, that was like amazing to watch. I love that scene as a kid.
I was like, as a kid, I for a long time I still felt like it was a metaphysical thing, like it was not actually there. But
yeah, it's an invisible bridge.
Yeah, it's there by the power as a kid, I thought the same.
Yeah, as a kid thought the same thing, and I asked my dad. I remembered asking my dad, like, because he turns back, because he's leading these Nazis through all the trials and everything, and once he gets across, he turns back and throws dirt across the bridge, and I was like, but I don't understand. Like, he had to make a leap of faith to be able to step on this bridge. The Nazis can't just walk on it; they don't have faith. Like, I didn't understand it, and then, like, as an adult, I'm watching it, it's like. It's a real fucking bridge. It just looks that way. My kid me was just mesmerized by this scene, but also confused because it just like it defied reality. I didn't understand it. It was so good. Yeah, I still love it. It's still amazing.
It's like obsidian or something, and it's a mirror. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, if it was a mirror, he'd see himself. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, it's definitely just not painted, but like designed to look like the wall face.
Yeah, it's good. Well, should we do closing statements? I'll go first. So I really like this movie. I absolutely love it. I'm going to go ahead up front and say it's a face and a half movie. It's a favorite from my childhood. I think it really holds up. You know, if we were going to do just these three, I would say this is at least my favorite of the three.
Oh yeah,
it might be my my more objective opinion as a critic. It might be the better one as well. Mostly because I feel like there's less racism in it. Yeah, and who doesn't want to watch
the Nazis again,
people killing Nazis? I mean, it's
exactly
it's good stuff.
Indiana made that popular.
Again.
You know, I mean, it was already popular after World War II. Like, obviously, people were using it nonstop. But yeah, they really just brought it to its height, where it's just like these are the villains. These are who we're fighting.
And then from the rest of the 80s through the 90s, you only had either the Nazis or the Russians as your villains.
Oh my God, that's true. There's also a scene with Hitler where they're at a book burning thing, like event, and he's trying to get his dad's diary or somebody's diary out of there, and because they're burning all the books. Mm-hmm. But then like he bumps into Hitler, and Hitler like sees him holding the book and thinks he just wants an autograph, so he flips it open and signs it.
It's so fucking funny. His dad's journal. It was his dad's journal.
Oh. I wish that there was because I don't think there is in the movie. At least I don't remember it. But I wish there was a moment where he like gives his dad the journal back, and his dad looks at it and he's like, "What the hell?" Like,
he is the guy who plays Hitler is uncredited for probably for
I wonder why
reasons. But the Dudabus does say that it's played by Michael Shared.
Michael shared.
He sure shared something.
No,
he was also in Star Wars and the Empire Strikes Back, and
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know any of these other things that it says that he was. Oh, he was in the Outsiders. Reuben Flaxman. Oh, it's a TV series, The Outsider. My bad. He was in TV.
I don't know that.
And he works.
Well, interesting.
Okay, that's my super strange side character. Go ahead. I'm done.
I really love this movie. I give it 4 stars. Like it was one of my favorite movies as a kid because it's captivating. It's it takes everything from the Raider of the Lost Ark and ups it to 100 kind of. It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark is a great film. I love it, but Last Crusade is the one where it's just like it's just as heartwarming.
Right.
None of the darkness of the second one. It's very levitating. It's a good father-son movie. Like it's just fun. It really is. And then you got the ending, which is just it's great. And there's a guy who turns to a skeleton before your eyes, and the effects still hold up, even though they are dated, but they still hold up.
Still pretty good.
I don't care what you say.
I love those practical effects. They're great.
You got a nice old knight. Yeah. He's been there guarding the girl forever.
Who might be a ghost, who might be immortal until he decides he doesn't want to be anymore. But he's most been there for
most likely immortal.
Like nearly 500 years, I think, or something like that. I'm not sure. I think we finished the show, though. I think we did everything we set out to do when it comes to The Last Crusade. There's no need for any more.
Yes.
No need for any more Crusades. Last Crusade.
But we will be back for another Indiana Jones.
Okay, that's the show.
I am the Green Traveler from Warsh.
And I am the Faceless Leone, the sexiest experiment on Earth.
Oh my goodness.
Safe travels and good night.
That's questionable.
Well, it's Subjective? Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.